So in this video, I'll be looking at the actual file structure of a T3 based template. And I have a couple of T3 templates here installed. One is the T3 blank one, and the other one is a Purity 3. The Purity 3 one is what I'll be looking at because it's based off the Bootstrap 3 version. So it's a little bit more up to date. So we'll have a look at that one. So this here is what you can see as a regular installation of Joomla, Joomla 3. So you can see the admin folder directory, the components, images, etc., etc. I'll just navigate down to the templates folder down here. And here I can see all the templates that have been installed. Like I mentioned before, we have Bootstrap, which is another Bootstrap-based template, but Purity 3 is one I'll go into. Now, when we're inside Purity 3, we can see all the different files and folders that appear within the template. Now, for a novice that has never seen a T3-based template before, they wouldn't really understand, or you may not even understand, exactly what's going on in this particular template file. So I'll demonstrate and show you exactly the key areas that you need to concentrate and look at in regards to customizing your themes and your templates using a T3 based template. So first off, you probably would be very much used to editing the CSS files within a regular Joomla template. Do not modify any of these files. Now that is because the T3 templates are all based on less, and the less compiler will generate these CSS files on the fly dynamically, or create them when you compile the less files for your template. So don't modify any of these, because any of the less changes that you do in your template will override these CSS files, with one particular exception, the custom.css file. If that exists, or if it doesn't exist, the template won't include it on its load. But if it does exist, it will include it in. And you can do quick little customizations of the CSS file there and of the template, all within that custom.css file. But let's have a look at the main files that you need to concentrate on. Now, the main ones that you'll be using for styling and changing the color scheme, the widths, the columns, etc., are the less files. Now, if you don't know how to code CSS in less, you will probably need to look at a tutorial for it, but it is very, very simple. It's very easy. I'll post links up to how to edit less and how to create templates using less within the tutorial of this particular section of the website as well, so please check that out. But if we have a look here, we go to the less file. Now, if you have watched the earlier videos about the theme creation, you'll know that you always need to create a theme for your template. So I'm going to go into themes here, and I can see a pre-made theme that I made for Joomla training. So I'll just click and open that. Now, if I was wanting to create a new theme, I can just quickly press copy and paste that same folder into the themes folder here. So I've got Joomla training copy, and I can just rename that to something a little bit more suitable, such as -2. And that's how you can quickly create another theme. Now, it's really important to do this so that all your customizations, all your theme customizations are all separated away from any of the core stuff that comes with the framework, the T3 framework. That way, if you ever upgrade this Purity 3 template or whatever template distribution you have, you won't override your theme customization. Okay, that's very important. Under there, we can see the template.less file, the variables-custom.less, and the variables.less file as well. Now, I can quickly override any of these. Now, I'll just double click on one and open it up, the variables.less file. And we can see here the Joomla training-2 variables.less. Now, this is where I'll define a lot of the colors within the scaffolding of the particular framework or the template that I'm using. In this case, I've changed the brand primary color to gray, the background color to white, and my text color to dark gray. Now, this is a reflection of how the main Joomla training website is styled at the moment. You can see here the gray at the top, the text is dark gray, and the background is white. If I was to change any of those variables here, with the less variables that may be existing. I'll just change this one quickly. Now I can see some of the other colors that are specified in my less template, and I've got dark gray. Then the primary color for this particular template will change also throughout the site. So this area here will turn to the same dark shade of gray as the text. Now, because I'm working on a local server and this is the live URL that I'm working at, you won't be able to see that, but you get the general idea, and I'll show you more of that in some other videos. But this is where you can do all your customization. So let's go back to the file structure and look a little bit more into that. So that's where we'll be customizing all of our less files, or the CSS markup that gets, or the less, sorry, that gets compiled into CSS markup. So all of our less files gets compiled into here, and I can just open that and we'll see the themes here as well. Now this hasn't been compiled locally on the machine, so we can't see the Joomla training theme, but it would appear in there if I was to compile the less to CSS. Now, the other main building blocks areas that you'll be playing with is the blocks, the templates, blocks areas. Now, in the Purity 3, we come with a whole set of predefined template blocks, which really help us to quickly create different types of themes for different types of situations. So we can see here that there's already a portfolio one set up, a magazine one set up, features intro, docs, a default one, a blog style, and a very corporate one as well. And if you have a look at the main T3 or Purity 3 demo, you'll be able to see how these are particularly laid out. Now, I mentioned in a previous video that these blocks are what really help us speed up our development process. So if we were designing another portfolio site, we'll just pull in this portfolio block. And if we were doing a new magazine one, we can just pull in the magazine one. And it really speeds up that type of development. So we're reusing some of the code that we had previously done for other websites. Now these blocks here, these main ones, if I open up the magazine one, for example, I'll be able to see here that this magazine file pulls in. Now I should get the naming terminology right. These are called layouts. So this magazine layout pulls in particular blocks. It pulls in a head block, it pulls in a header block, pulls in the main body, a nav helper, and a footer. And if I open up the blocks folder here, I'll be able to see those particular block files. I can see header, where's header? There's header there. Main body is right there. And footer, where's footer? Starts with the F, there it is. We can see the footer block in there. And I can drill down a little bit further and have a look at exactly what is displaying within one of these files. Now you can see here it's just plain CSS, plain HTML. It's got the footer wrapper here, HTML5 style with the IDs and classes. In here we can start seeing a little bit more of the Joomla code and some of the T3 framework syntax and markup. But essentially what all this does is just pull in the modules. And there are other videos that go into a little bit more detail about how these particular Spotlight codes and module pulling codes actually work and how you can redefine them and customize them to pull in your own custom block codes. But the rest of the code here you can see quite clearly is just HTML5 sections, divs, and other HTML5 markup language. It's just your plain old HTML that you'll probably be more used to. I'll just pull this over into PHP Storm so we can see some of the markup and the syntax a little bit more easily. So we can see here the PHP blocks, the section blocks, the divs. It's all really is pretty straightforward HTML stuff. And other videos, I will go into this a little bit more so you can find out exactly how to customize and build upon these blocks. So that's the main areas, the main sections, the main building blocks of a T3 framework. Let's have a look at some of the other ones a little bit further up in the hierarchy here. So like I was saying, the CSS file, you don't want to be customizing any of this. You don't want to be changing any of these files except for the custom.css file. That is the only CSS file that doesn't get overridden. Further up here, we have the component.php file. This is a common file that you find in all Joomla templates. This is used for things such as the print function within Joomla, the email a friend, I believe, and also particular plugins or extensions such as modal, where you'd want to strip out everything else except for the component wrapper, the component area where the Joomla CMS will display component styled information. So you can use that, customize that, pull in extra CSS and make that look a little bit different if you need to. But that's a very common thing across all Joomla templates, and all Joomla templates should have that particular file. The etc or the etc folder, this is where it holds a lot of the parameters in regards to controlling the template itself. If I open up this assets.xml file, I'll go into this a little bit more detail in other videos, but this is mainly just an overview. If we go into that assets.xml file, we can see here that I've commented this out. Now, this is actually where you can pull in other CSS files, any other JavaScript, and you can tell T3 to control it within this particular file. So it's loading it up in the order that you want to within the Joomla, within the T3 framework itself. So here, I'm not using Font Awesome, so I just disabled and commented out this particular file that it was trying to pull in, so I didn't have to pull in the fontawesome.css files. I saw it as an extra overhead that I had to download, and because I wasn't using it, let's strip that out so that my end user wouldn't have to download any extra overhead there. Now, like I said, I'll go through that area a little bit more, but that's a little bit of an overview of what the etc folder does. Fonts, I think this might be pretty obvious, but this is where you store your web fonts that you may have, and you can see the Font Awesome CSS and the Font Awesome files in there where the template would normally pull it in. Helper file I won't go into at the moment, but this extends the actual template itself. The HTML folder, this is where you store your HTML overrides for your Joomla site. So if you're overriding some of the layouts within K2 or mod article archives or any other modules or any other components that is built in the MVC layout, you can override their views so you can customize the HTML and package it with your HTML overrides of your template. So that's quite useful. I'll post tutorial notes about that in the video notes as well. Images, they're pretty obvious. They're the images that come packed with your template. We can see here some states. So some CSS is being used to pull in these states. So you can use different module suffixes to pull that in. You can see the logo of the template and all sorts of other things, etc., etc. Index.html is to just stop users and hackers, more so users, getting and browsing into this particular folder structure itself. So the index.html file blocks any of these folders displaying when someone's trying to access it on your web server. The index.php file is a functional file for the template itself. This you don't want to modify this. If you mess around with this, your template won't work. So just leave this particular file alone. That one there, leave it alone. JavaScript files, if you're adding in any extra customized JavaScript, you can add it in here just to organize your files a little bit more. Your language files, if you have custom language requirements for your template. So if you're distributing the template, you may want to distribute it with other language packages so that it will appear in the back end, and Arabic, can't think of another language, Chinese, Vietnamese, all of those will appear in the back end of the site. So you have different options so you can read. So those languages can be read in the back end of Joomla. Now the less files I went through a little bit earlier, so they're all your customization. Please make sure you brush up on your less skills. The template preview file is the thumbnails, not the thumbnails, the images that you'll see when you're browsing and pre-selecting before the selection of the template itself for enabling. The template details.xml, this is another common file that you find on Joomla templates itself. If we switch over to something like Bootstrap, we'll see the template details.xml file. And this particular file here will open up and control all of your module positions, all the different files that you may need installing when the template is installed onto your website or your web server. And you can see here all the different files that I've just gone through. And that file controls that the template details.xml file controls what gets installed onto your web server itself. So we can see all the files here that have been uploaded, all the folders, the language files here. But if we go down a little bit further, more importantly, we have the positions. Now these are all the predefined positions that the Purity 3 template actually uses that it gets released with, and we can customize this to add in a few more module positions if we needed to. Now there'll be more videos talking about that a little bit later. Template hooks. This allows you to add in extra code for the particular template that you're working on. So if you scroll down here, we can see some predefined functions. And you can add in your own code into these functions. So you can actually do something when the template after it renders or before it renders. So you can add in a little bit of extra code in there in case you need it to do something else that the T3 template doesn't do out of the box. Template info. I'll just open this one up. This gives you a little bit of an idea of exactly how to use this particular template, and this appears in the back end of your Joomla site when you're browsing to the template manager and opening up this particular template file. Now theme magic, this thememagic.xml holds the configuration, so I'll just open this up in PHP Storm, and this holds all the particular parameters if you're using theme magic. So this is where you can back this up or redistribute it to other websites if you're using the same type of theme across multiple websites. So that's what thememagic.xml is for. Now the template block area I already went through. So that's a really quick overview of each and every individual area that you could possibly customize in a T3 framework template. Now these templates, a lot of template providers are using T3 and they're all set up pretty much the same way. So that goes along for all of the Joomla art templates, any of the templates that we provide at PB Web Development for our clients, and also to any of the Joomla Bamboo templates, and of course many other providers out there. So if you ever wanted to get into the customization of any of those T3 templates, this is where you look. These are the files, and I hope that you found this video quite helpful for customizing those particular templates. Thanks.